Hey guys, I'm Christina,
And it's your girl, Jenny Boo.
and you are listening to
Cultivate Her.
Yay! We're so excited.
Back for another episode, girl. So I'm so excited to be back here with you today. I just want to know how your weekend was going. What did you do today or this weekend for your self care time? Did you do anything?
Um, I did my hair, girl, so I'm out here looking real different out
I
here.
see. I like the ponytail. I told you that already.
Thank you. So I did my
Cute.
hair, and then other than that, I wanted to attempt to do my toes, and it didn't happen. And but my hair got done, and girl, I treated myself to a brand new cell phone.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good. Good for you.
bought myself a gift, y'all. I deserve it. Shoot.
Yeah, you work hard. Sometimes you forget to treat yourself. So that's important. And I'm glad you were
Hmm.
able to do that. You looking cute. You got a new phone. You don't know how to act.
Yup, we fancy.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, girl?
Girl, I just been trying to relax as much as possible this weekend. Well, as you can see, I got my hair done. Well, I did my hair because, I'm frugal. But I did my
Mhm.
hair. I got my nails done on Friday. So I feel like a lady again.
Yeah, girl. As you
you know,
should. As you
yeah.
should.
Definitely needed that though, but it's important for us to really start taking care of ourselves, just like we take care of anybody else. So, just being able to go out and get my nails done and do my hair and just, do little things to make myself feel and look good. It's
Mhm.
important, just to be able to have that time. You're not meant to just, work every day just to spend money on bills. We need to take care of ourselves too. So I'm glad you were able to do what you had to do, get your new phone. I got my nails on, we got to enjoy the time that we have.
Yeah, I'm styling. I'm loving this phone.
I see. What phone did you get?
I got the iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Oh,
Okay.
sounds
Yeah,
fancy.
girl. And this phone is $1,100, yo.
Mm.
But if you have a paid off phone, you can trade it in and they take $700 off the current phone that you're about to get. And then you're left with like I was left with like $300 more to pay off. So it was perfect. Just pay it off
Wow.
and yeah. So I was excited about that. And if anybody knows, like the camera on this thing is everything. I do most of my content on this. So I was
Mm,
mad hype about getting a phone
I
with
believe
a
you.
better camera. I mean, the front camera was popping. I took a picture earlier. I looked like I was airbrush girl. Listen, I didn't know how to act. Let me tell y'all. They got us looking crazy in these cameras now. Photoshop just off
Girl,
the first snap.
I can't even talk because my camera is terrible and I don't plan on replacing my phone anytime soon. But I'm so happy. You're so right. iPhone cameras are something exquisite. So I can only imagine what the
Hmm.
new phone camera is like. So, girl, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're just going to jump right into the topic. We want to just talk about our non negotiables. I think it's important as we figure out who we are that we set boundaries for ourselves and for other people. So, today's topic, we're just going to go forward and talk about different non negotiables that we may have. Christina, what kind of non negotiables have you been able to come up with for yourself?
Okay, girls. So all my negotiables are about relationships, like my five negotiables. Well,
Non negotiables.
non-negotiables. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be struggling through that word throughout the whole podcast, y'all. Excuse me now.
It's all good.
But I have my five, and my five relates to it is from within with self, but it also relates to me in a relationship, how my posture will be in my relationship. So those are my non-negotiables. Not necessarily towards the man, but the type of woman that I will be towards this man, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, perfect sense.
So what are your five?
My non negotiables are just for myself and what I expect to receive or will accept from people. I feel
Hmm.
like, setting boundaries is important. And that's something that I forgot somewhere along the way in life. So now just being, an adult and knowing that I have the ability to make that decision for myself, I feel like it's important for me to just set the boundaries and just let it be known, what my non negotiables are. So we're going to let that be known today.
Hmm. All right.
So,
So what
mm-hmm,
what are your negotiable? What are your non-negotiables
non-negotiables.
within self? Yeah. Let me tell
So for my non-negotiable is not settling. I feel like a lot of times we settle out of fear or because we might be um, opposed to change. But I don't think that's, something that should really hold us back because you don't know what kind of blessings that you're keeping yourself back from.
you.
So I feel like just being able to set boundaries for yourself and, value yourself enough to know what your worth is and not settling for less. So that's my biggest non-negotiable is setting boundaries and not settling. What about you? What's your first non-negotiable?
Actually, I kind of just want to go right into your negotiable because it ties right into one that I have,
Mm,
which is just the same. And let me see. So what I put down is that it deals with not it definitely deals with not settling, but it ties more of me not being a yes woman.
mm,
You know,
mhm,
most times women are yes women and they say yes to everything and end up with someone that they shouldn't end up with, or their man has a certain type of behavior that they shouldn't have, and they're just like okay with it, like yes, 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 easy influence, yes to everything. And I put down that I will not be a yes woman, that I won't
mhm.
accept less than what I deserve.
That sounds like exactly like what I said, settling. Like once you know what your worth is and what you're able to, accomplish and bring forth, you need to know that you don't have to settle for less. So
Mhm.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's important for us to just know our worth so that way we can know to ask for it from anybody, even ourselves.
I agree, because let me tell you something. I'm not settling for no ugly buku, chicken leg looking, ashy dry, hair
Not
ain't cut, beard looking crazy type of man. And I said it. Y'all heard it on here, okay?
for
So if
real.
you want to be out here looking like a bum and you trying to come correct and get a queen like me, honey, listen, you're going to have to get yourself right. I ain't
Yeah.
going to be out here. I'm sorry to all the women that want to build up a man, girl. See, y'all got me hype on here. See, I'm already ready to go in. But I'm saying, like, because for me, I really set it based on dating, and yours is just based on like self and being able to
Yeah.
develop it, right? But for me, I had to hit it in that notion because, of course, I'm getting married, I'm with someone, and we are still figuring it out. You get what I'm saying? And we
Mm,
still have developed our negotiables, our non-negotiables through this process of going into marriage. That's
mhm,
actually something we go over in therapy, right?
mhm.
So, I think that if a man's gonna want a queen, you're gonna have to be a king. Straight up. You're
I
gonna have to
agree.
be a king. Don't come to me looking crazy and talking about you want a fly chick that got a job and this and that. And you don't got a job and you're not fly and you're
Mm,
not clean and you got 1,000 baby mamas. Cause yes, I don't care what nobody's saying. I might sound judgmental, but if you're gonna have 1,000 baby mamas, have your shit in order.
mhm.
So I could be like, well, there's no problem with you having 1,000 baby mamas. But then you can't have 1,000 baby mamas and don't have your shit in order, and I'm supposed to pick you up. Girl,
And you
okay.
can't even support these kids. Yeah, that's a
Okay
lot.
now.
Mhm.
Okay now.
You're right. And I feel
So
you.
come correct. Pull your pants up, cut your hair, speak like you want to speak to a queen.
Mhm.
Okay? And then let's have a conversation. I'm
Mm,
just saying.
mm. They forget that last part. Speak like you're speaking to a queen. Period.
Okay.
Like don't
Period.
forget. Come
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing that people do too often. And I totally agree. Once you know your worth, you're like, nope, I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna expect anything less, you know. And that's kind of like that kind of ties into what my next non-negotiable is not changing or conforming for anybody else. Like just for myself, I'm comfortable with who I am and how I am. And, I know I'm not perfect. I know I have so much more growing and learning to do, but I feel like it's not up to anybody else to shape and mold who I am. Everybody will have an opinion, just like everybody has an asshole, doesn't mean everybody want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me just, I feel like it's important for us all to just allow people to be themselves, so that way we can just live free, judgment free, you know?
Jen got me all the way messed up, y'all, because we actually wrote our non-negotiables separately.
Mm.
Okay. So right now she's like saying all the ones that I have, and I'm like, I'm over here mind blown. I'm like, girl, girl, I got that. I got that too.
Yeah,
Girl. She said everybody got an asshole, but everybody ready to listen.
for real. Like, it's crazy. But
That's
that's the
how it is.
thing, because people think that we all have an opinion, that we all need to share it. Like, no, you can keep your opinion to yourself sometimes and let people just live free. You know, if you're not comfortable or you're not happy, just change your environment so that way you're not exposed to situations that make you uncomfortable or unhappy. But
Right.
if people are being themselves, who are you to judge them?
Do you think that some people might mistake opinion and advice for two different things? Because I think sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it's a thin line, but it's just, there's a way to go about it. Like, if you want to give an opinion to someone,
Hmm.
there's a way that you can communicate your opinion without coming off judgmental. Like,
Right.
sometimes people talk to you about their problems, not even for an opinion. They just want somebody to listen, you
Hmm.
know. So while you're sitting here coming up with an opinion in your mind about, what the person is telling you, the person doesn't want to hear that, you know. Sometimes they just want an open ear or a judgment free zone to just let loose. Like,
Yep.
that's me sometimes. Like, when I go off, like, I don't need nobody's opinion or advice, because like, when I ask you, I will take that. When I ask you for your advice, I will take that into consideration. But a lot of times, it's up to me to really determine my life and the choices that I make in my life. So I'm trying to just grow and develop on my own terms. So it just, like I said, there's a fine line, but there's also a way that it can be communicated where you are giving your opinion without it coming off judgmental.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. You can definitely, although it's hard for me because I feel like I always do come off judgmental. What do you think? Do you think I come off judgmental to you sometimes?
You can come off judgmental sometimes, but then again, we all can. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time you checked me when I was coming off judgmental, and I was like, damn, I am being a little judgmental. But I don't even think that you meant to, you know? Like, I think you were just throwing something out there, and I was just like, oh, damn, am I judging this person right now?
Hmm.
But it's just, we all have to just check ourselves or be checked, or be able to be checked. Sometimes, we don't realize when we're doing it. Like me in that moment, I didn't even realize, but we just have to be open to the fact that, it's not our damn business. Like, the people that we're judging, like, who are we to judge anybody? Because we're all imperfect and learning our own lessons in our own time.
That is so true. That is so true. I wanted to tell you. So you had that you didn't want to. Your second non-negotiable was to not change yourself for anyone, right?
Hmm.
That was it. So
Right.
mine that related to that was actually that was like my longest non-negotiable actually, and it was for me relationship wise, it was that my that my sense of value and my identity will always be strong. And I wrote down that I wrote down that I would never allow myself to view myself worthless based on who I'm attracted to or who I'm with.
Hmm.
And that I felt like, a lot of times that we end up in a place where when we're in a relationship, our value is based on what the person views us as, right?
Hmm.
So I didn't I thought that I wanted to make sure that I know what my value is and what my worth is and who I am
Right.
without this person,
Right.
with or without whoever I'm with, that I would have to know.
Girl. If I knew that, I think uh, that's one of my biggest things. Like in my past relationships, that's what happened to me. I just completely lost myself in the relationship. And that can be very detrimental to a relationship because then you become more dependent in the relationship and like you don't really have an outside source, and then you start to lose your identity. So um I think it's important for you to remember who you are with or without anybody. There's this song that I really love, and I forget who the name, Jesse Reyes wrote it. It's it's called, um it goes like this, like, who are you when no one's in the room? I
Mm,
think that's important for us to really think about that and evaluate ourselves in that way, because you can go out into the world and put on a show and be, the best person that you want to be, but then you come home and, you're with your kids or your dog or your family and you're a completely different person. We need to remember, like, who we are when nobody's in the room, and how we think about ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we view the world. I think we need to really evaluate that, because that gives us a sense of understanding of who we are.
yeah.
We lose that part, and that's, man. If I knew that when I'm dating, I'm newly dating again. Now I have a whole different mindset on how that goes. But girl, if I knew it was that simple, man, my ass wouldn't be single right now.
I
It's
was gonna
like,
say, do you think like we would have saved a lot more relationships, or we would have had better relationships from our past relationship?
absolutely, absolutely. If I, like, hindsight is 2020, I would have definitely been able to, hold on to relationships a lot longer had I just valued myself more, and as much as I valued other people. Sometimes, like, you put more into other people than you put into yourself, and that's
Good
really how you lose yourself. That's how I lost
girl.
myself.
Oh,
So it's
mhm.
okay. It's okay to fall in love and to be in a relationship and to, go through that whole spiel. But it's important. It's more important for you to really remember who you are and stay true to who you are, so that you know what you're bringing to that relationship. You have value in that relationship. You're adding to that relationship instead of just existing in it. And I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
my relationships, I was just existing in it because I was just happy or comfortable, but then I lost myself. So
yeah.
that's just where I've been on my journey of rediscovering for myself, just figuring out who I am, to my family, who I am to my friends, to strangers, how people view me, how I view myself, more importantly, because
Mhm.
all that really ties in to the person that I'm going to be ultimately.
Yeah. I love that you went back into saying that who I am to myself, because
Mhm.
that's what matters the most. I think a lot of times when we're like taking on so many different responsibilities, I'm the
Mhm.
employee, I'm the mother, I am the sister, I am the cousin. I mean with so many roles that we always tend to forget about ourselves. And I actually just had a discussion similar to this, that women, we are always so strong. We're always so strong for everyone else, for everything else, and we tend to forget to be strong for ourselves.
Mhm.
Leave ourselves out, and that's when we lose ourselves. But the thing is that yes, women were supposed to be strong, right? We're always strong. We're always holding down the fort for everyone. But I think that there has to be room for us to not always be strong.
Mhm.
And there
Yep.
has to be room for that.
Yes, girl. I totally agree. I
it's
totally
it's
agree with that.
okay to not, and I don't know, I think it's not, it's okay to not feel 100% strong, and it's okay for me to not feel like I can stand and hold for someone else. And it's so crazy that you talk about this. Let me go into it real quick. So this week I went through something really tough, and I was telling my hubby, I was like, listen, like, okay, so I went through it, right? Let me tell you the situation. So we went through it, right? And I was like, there was a day where he called me and he was just venting and he was just like complaining about his job, right? And he was just like, I'm just so frustrated. He was just venting about, I'm so frustrated with this. And I just went through something super detrimental. You get what I'm saying to me? That kind of had me like, dang, you know? And literally like in the same day, he goes and adds the load onto me. And I
Mm.
was just like, and I said to him after that, I was like, sometimes you have to understand that I'm not always strong. And there's going to be times in our relationship where I have put myself, like, sometimes you have to place your feelings to the side to hold that person down. right? And be strong for them in that moment. Because here I am holding up my strength, but I need you to kind of put your stuff to the side for a second and have your strength and hold me down right now, right? Does that make sense? Like, I know it, like, in a way, I thought it sounded harsh that I'm asking him to, like, can you just not add the load on me right now? Because here I am have my stuff dealing with, and then I got to have your stuff to deal with too. Here I am trying to be strong for both of us, when
Yeah.
I'm always strong for both of us in whatever we go through. And when you got your stuff, I'm strong for you. I'm so strong for you that I don't even talk to you about the stuff I'm going through,
Mm.
because you got your stuff going on right now and I'm trying to build you up. And once you build up, then I can say, babe, I was going through A, B, and C right now, but right now I need you to hold me down. That's
It's
where I'm
okay
that's
to
where I'm talking
ask for
about.
that though. Like I think it's like perfect that you guys were able to have that conversation and you were able to tell him like this is a lot, you know what I mean? Because otherwise you would have driven yourself crazy or been driven crazy with all of that weight and baggage put on you. So if
Mhm,
you feel like it's too much and it's taking a toll, you should be able to like say, okay, listen, like dial back just a little bit, you know,
mhm.
because otherwise it's gonna be too much of a burden on you. So I commend you for having that conversation with your man. You should be able to have that kind of talk and just be, be able to work through that. I don't think that should have been or should be an issue, or seen as an issue. The fact that you guys have open communication like that is amazing. But the fact that you, more importantly, know your boundaries and what your limitations are when it comes to dealing with all that stress is more important because then you're not going to take on more than you can handle.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I did realize that I was at this point where I had, well, the thing is, I knew that I wasn't in the right place in that moment, and I didn't want to actually get to the point where I reached my boundaries. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I didn't want to get to that point where I'm like, hey, you're hitting that wall and you're pushing it, and I didn't want to have that blow up like, ugh. I was like,
Hmm.
hey, can you just hold off for a second for me? Because I'm trying to be strong right now and it's tough. Can you accept the fact that I can't be as strong for both of us right now? I can only be strong for Christina. So can you be strong for me in the process too?
Hmm.
Sometimes it happens like that in relationships.
In life,
Mm.
girl. I don't have nobody else to unload on, but I remember I met one of my close friends and we were just in a deep conversation and we were just talking about, being a black woman. And I was like, "Oh my God, girl, you ever just get tired of being strong? Like, you know what I mean? You just need a break. Like, can I just like fall to pieces?" But it takes a level of vulnerability to be able to get to that comfort zone with somebody where you can really trust them, where you can really break down and get to
Mm.
those, explore those deep core issues and trust that the person's going to keep that secret or keep that
Yeah.
between them. But man, I totally get it. So it's we can't be strong 24/7. It's impossible. At some point we need to know what our limitations are, or we just need to break down and release to get that frustration or the hurt that we're feeling out. Otherwise we're going to drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah, very true. I wanted to just say that in the process of all of that, the biggest thing in my relationship, since we continue to talk about non negotiables, was that I refuse to lose myself in my relationship. And I don't know if that, for me, it might looks like I'm dividing my relationship, or I don't want to make it seem like we're divided because a marriage is a union, right? But I remember when I first started out dating him and when we were together, and it's still like that now. I ain't gonna lie. I like to keep my friends separate. I was in a past relationship where I couldn't keep it separate, right? And I was just like, your friends are your friends, my friends are my friends. This is my money, this is your money, like that, right? But I really had to keep the friendship separate because in the past relationship I didn't, and it got over consumed. You know what I mean? And then I like after we broke up, I couldn't separate the two. Not that I'm preparing for us to break up, right? But I kind of need to have something that's mine. I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to identity in a relationship or in any way, shape, or form, and when it comes to identity, something has to be yours. Like this is just yours. It's not ours.
Mm-hmm.
Someone might be listening to this and say, absolutely not. Not absolutely not. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just like, that's just how I feel. So
Right.
I like to separate, and I like what I mean is, because Jennifer liked this word, boundaries. I like to have some boundaries. Okay. So I like to keep the boundaries when it comes to my relationship. And we have many of those boundaries, and we try not to cross them, right? Respectfully. So I kept my friendship separate and to help me make sure that at the end of the day, Christina knows who Christina is. If he's not around, I know who I am. Okay. And sometimes he says like, oh, you really just don't care about me like that, because you would be acting like you don't need me. But that's not the case. I need Christina
Mm-hmm.
first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I need me first.
Yeah.
Then I can need you. But I need to have
Yeah.
me. I need to be whole within me first before I can start bumping with you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I haven't been. I ain't gonna lie. After that relationship, girl, when we broke up, I didn't know who I was without him. Cause my whole life was surrounded by him and his friends. Our friends, and our friends don't know who to be friends with after that.
Mm-hmm.
Girl,
I remember.
she said, I remember.
I remember. Trust me, I went
It
through
was
the
crazy.
same thing. I mean, girl, my relationship when I was dating my ex in Boston. That was like the situation for me, and I could totally relate. But for me in that situation, I got so consumed in the relationship, and it was a new environment for me, so I didn't really have any of my own friends. So like that world was my world, and I didn't really have an identity for myself. I had like friends, but they were like coworkers, people that were like come and go. So I I can totally see how, you can get consumed in a relationship and, want to separate the two because once you lose that, you really don't know what's
Hmm.
next. And that's the scary part because you don't really plan on, you don't really think to plan to have separate lives. You want to just be able to build, but it's important for you to know who you are with or without that relationship. So the fact that you do that, you have to continue to grow and figure out who you are, relationship or not.
Right. You know what's funny? You were like, pretty much I entered her world. It was like they just picked Jen up and you just popped into her
I
bubble
did.
and kind of
Yeah.
just went with the flow.
Yeah, and they accepted me. They accepted me like as if they had known me forever and I wasn't used to that. Oh my God, it was like foreign to me, I'm just so used to like I don't know, drama and chaos, like
Mhm.
toxicity, you know what I mean? So like I don't know, it's that whole phase, I'll call it, in my life was was a great learning curve for me because it actually showed me what it felt like to be like accepted, like it showed me what it felt like for, to have like or to have like a family dynamic, like a healthy family dynamic.
Mhm.
um it showed me a lot of my toxicity, because I had found myself in some situations that I'm not so proud of. But it was definitely a learning curve, going through that whole relationship. We were together for like 5.5, 6 years, Some of it was distant, some of it we lived together. So, just going through that whole phase and losing myself within that whole relationship. Um, it taught me the importance of knowing who I am with or without the relationship. So if I can go back, well, I can't go back, but moving forward into my next relationship, I'm definitely going to, take your advice and develop or continue to develop who I am with or without a relationship because if it does end, then I don't want to feel lost again. I want to just continue to grow into who I am.
Mhm. That's right, girl. Grow into who you are. You need,
Yeah,
and it's like I know that in relationships we're supposed to get affirmations and get all these sweet things, but if hubby doesn't tell me I'm beautiful today, I know for a fact that I'm beautiful. If he don't say, babe, um, I appreciate you. I already know that I'm appreciated. I appreciate me because I know the kind of badass that I am and
Hmm.
all that goes down around here, okay?
Yeah.
But the act, not, I'm not saying that he's not supposed to. He's still supposed to say, I appreciate you. You're supposed to say, because at the end of the day, love is an action and you're supposed to show it,
Hmm.
express it, right? But
But you already know your self-worth. You already know. You don't have
exactly.
to be convinced.
Yes, come on, self-worth.
Yes.
We need that. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
We need that. Listen, cultivate her is about building y'all up. Now come on, sisters. If you don't have your self-worth, you don't got nothing. So
Hmm.
before you want to date a man, before you want to be a mother, before you want to be a sister, anything that you listen, you got to know your self-worth. I don't
Hmm.
care. Because you can't build nobody else up if you don't even know what your value is.
Yeah. That
I
is so
know I know the value that I am to you as a friend.
true. Yeah, as you should.
You get what I'm saying? And I know the value you have to me as a friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure that we definitely know how to value ourselves and know what we're worth. A matter of fact, if we knew what we were worth, girl, we would never settle. Real
Hmm.
fast.
Yeah. That's
We would
indeed a
never.
fact.
We wouldn't be like, oh, well, he doesn't do this, but I can cross my T's and dot my I's. And maybe, nah, girl, I know what I'm worth. I ain't settling.
Hmm.
Either you're gonna do it or you're not. I still had that
Right.
conversation with my man. We're not even married yet. But I tell him, either you're gonna do this or you're not, because this is it for me. I ain't
Yeah.
negotiating.
Yeah. Non-negotiable.
And girls, let me tell you, non-negotiables change in a relationship
Yes.
all the time. So what
Hmm.
my non-negotiables were last year, they're totally different than this year.
Yeah,
Just
because they're
saying.
growing. So I can get that. I could totally get that.
Mhm. I know
Yeah.
what I deserve. And I
Yeah.
definitely have a sense of my value, okay? I have the sense of my value. I know have the sense of my identity and I know I'm strong. I'm
Hmm.
talking ish. Let me stop.
No, that's true. You got to speak it though. You have to really know what your self-value is and believe it. I feel like a lot of people do
Mhm.
settle and change and conform who they are. But I feel like people, you know, a lot of, well, this ties right into my next non-negotiable. People
Hey,
settle and put, themselves in situations out of fear. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, of being afraid to change or being afraid to be on your own. Like, we can't let fear control us. Like sometimes we have to just take the leap of faith and just let the universe just teach us. We have to take the lessons that are coming into our lives and really learn and grow from them and not find ourselves in the same cycle and the same pattern.
mhm.
We have to
On
really
repeat.
put our fear to the side, really focus on what our intentions are, our goals are, and hone in like into that. Like we can't expect God or the universe or things to just fall into our lap. We need to put in the work necessary to, you know, take the steps to get towards what our goal is and put our fear to the side. You never know who you might be influencing or what change you might be in someone's life or in the world. Being afraid is not going to get you anywhere. So letting fear
Facts on
control
facts on
me is
facts.
another non-negotiable. I can't. I'm putting that fear to the side and I'm just going for different things that I feel that I want to do.
Yes, girl. That's the same exact negotiable I have here, non-negotiable that I have here. And that
Wow.
is that I refuse to be weak.
Mm,
And I will not entertain the spirit of doubt and weakness.
mm-hmm.
It's the same one as yours, girl. That's what I
Yeah.
wrote. I will not entertain. And when I said I will not entertain doubt, I pretty much mean that I will not entertain fear,
Mm-hmm.
because fear is doubt. You doubt
Mm-hmm.
what's for you. So I refuse to entertain it. Even when the thought comes across my mind, I get mad at myself for even letting myself get there. Why are you
Mm,
even thinking like that when you know?
yeah.
I refuse to be weak. I'm a queen. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying.
Yeah. It's great that you were able to
I
do
can't.
that. You got to really pay attention to the things that we tell ourselves when we're in private. Remember, who are we when no one's in the room?
Mhm.
The things that we tell ourselves are the most important things because that's what's going to be repeated in your brain when you're not even paying attention. So you need to make sure that you're speaking life into yourself and believing it because when you're not paying attention and when there's no one else in the room, You need to make sure that you staying true to who you say that you're gonna be, you know.
right? And who you say you are. Preach what you teach. Is that what I always say?
Yeah.
I always say it
Practice
wrong.
what you preach.
Practice what you preach. I always say it
You
wrong. She always
always say
correct
it
me.
wrong. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
you got to practice what you preach. I
Hmm.
don't be out here walking around. I say it on every podcast, but I do not walk out here saying something and doing otherwise. I
Yeah.
hold myself accountable first before I start, spreading the knowledge. I'm
Hmm.
just saying. Shoot,
Yeah, you got to.
I'm not. Mm-mm. Let me tell you, you deserve better. That spirit of doubt, that spirit of fear, that spirit of being uncomfortable, that spirit of feeling like you don't deserve something better, that
Mm.
spirit of thinking that you deserve less because of A, B, and C. Listen, I rebuke that right now in the name of Jesus. I'm sorry. I had to get churchy on y'all. Mm-mm. Y'all deserve better.
Yes. Yes. If nobody else tells you,
Y'all
we
deserve
telling you. You deserve way better. Believe that.
Yep.
Serious.
Y'all better stand on that pedestal like y'all should.
Hmm.
Sure. You ain't seated at the table just to be seated at the table, girl. You know, I be ready to throw. I be out here throwing out. Why you seated at the table? You got a place at the table. You seated at that table. You better
Right.
sit there nice and tall like you should be. I'm just
Hmm.
saying.
Crown on your head and
Sit there.
everything. Mm,
Okay now? And whoever want to sit at the table with you, sure, you could welcome them.
mm,
But make sure they're of the same stature as you are. Because
mm,
at the end of the day, your standards is based on what you perceive it to be.
mm-hmm,
Okay? Now, if you walking around and you ain't setting standards, I don't know.
mm,
I can't help you, sis.
mm.
I can't help you.
Then you're gonna be
You can't be
settling.
out here talking. Yeah, you can't be out here talking about you more and better, and you be like, well,
And you're
this what
going
blows
back
my
to your
mind.
ex. Going back to your ex that's been
Right?
cheating on you or
Okay.
like,
On
all right,
repeat.
sis. No,
Like
no.
Jen said, you on the cycle over and over. That's right,
Mm-mm.
Jen. Come
No.
on. The moment you break up with one relationship, you hit the ex back up. Why? He was no better. He wasn't good then. He ain't gonna be good now. What you trying?
Mm-hmm.
What hole are you trying to fill, though?
Mm.
You know what I
Girl.
mean?
She said, which hole? Yes, girl, for real. That is so true. It's a
Shoot.
void people try to fill, but
Okay.
that's not gonna fill it. It's crazy because I said one time in a situationship that I had, and I just blurted out one time. I was like, you don't fulfill me. Like I wasn't trying to be like a bitch, but
Mhm.
I just felt like in that situationship, like she just felt like she just knew better. She would tell me things like, "Oh, I know what's best for you." You know what I mean? That kind of like narcissistic
Mm.
personality type. So
Right.
once I said that, I was just like, that was like an eye opener for me because I knew in that moment that I needed to fill that void that she felt like she could have filled for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was some kind of vulnerability or brokenness that certain personality types like to take advantage of. And when you show that type of vulnerability, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to be vulnerable or to be able to be vulnerable with someone. um, but to an extent, because not everybody has your best intentions at heart. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
really just be careful about who you open up with, who open up to, and just be mindful about your worth. Because once you know what your worth is, you're not going to be settling for anything, like you said.
That's true. Know your worth. But first of all, if someone said to me, "You don't fulfill me," I think I would have passed out in the room. I would have just melted into nothing.
Girl. But
You
it
don't
was just,
fulfill me.
but when somebody's ego is so big and you just got to pop the
Mm-hmm.
bubble, you know what I mean? So I was just like, oh my God. But in that moment, as I was saying it to her, like it meant something way different to me. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I just spoke life into myself and I was like, and that's when I really started to fulfill myself. I started to really do things, dive more into a creative side to fulfill a void that I've had. I'm starting to paint more, I'm starting to model, doing this podcast, I'm doing things outside of my comfort zone to be able to grow into the woman that I'm meant to be. And that's really what's been fulfilling me. I've been so content with the way things have been. oh my God, you see me last year, Chris? My life was like a completely different situation.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like, like my mind was always, just it was just always so many things going on in life in my mind. I just couldn't find any balance. But now 2020, even though it's been a rough year, it was able to really show me who I am and what I'm capable of overcoming. So with everything that I've learned in these past years, and as I continue to learn, I'm just going to be grateful for all the lessons that I've learned along the way, because man, it's not easy, but I'm loving the journey that I'm taking along the way. This is only we only have one life, and we have to embrace it and live it to our fullest. If you're not happy, then what are you doing?
Facts. Real
Yeah.
facts. I think that's my biggest thing in life. Like if you're not living, you just here. You're just like a fly in the wall.
Fly on the wall.
Real
Yeah.
facts. That's my biggest fear. Like being here on this earth and just not living life. And then suddenly I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Big fear for
Yeah,
me.
not making
Yeah.
an impact. And not being remembered,
Yeah.
you're just gone. Like I could see that being a fear, but the path that you're taking, you're gonna leave a lot of footsteps along the way. So keep
Hey.
keep on with your journey. Keep on
Hey.
going. Woman of empowerment, cultivate her.
Hey.
We just
Hey.
making
Hey.
footsteps in the snow for everybody to see trail
Hmm.
behind. This is just the beginning of a beautiful, beautiful, like long journey. So I'm
Hmm.
excited.
Thank you. And I'm gonna be real with you. I don't need to be remembered. Like I don't need to be like a Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks now.
You
I just
don't,
need to know
but
that I had influence where I
right.
know I was doing God's work. That's what it is.
Yeah.
As long as I know that I was doing something to influence people, to help people, you know, that's
And
all
you
that matters.
already are. You already have. Trust me.
Yeah, that's what cultivate her is about. Hey, that's what cultivate her is about. I always busting
Yes,
into song.
girl.
I'm a mess. So
Yes,
what's your other
girl.
non-negotiable?
So actually, I was going to get right into that. What you said just ties in to what my next non-negotiable is. All in all, well, we were basically, but I was talking about a change in my life within the past few years, and my next non-negotiable is just to be stuck in the pattern. We were talking about patterns earlier, so
Hmm.
I can't be stuck in any more patterns that are not conducive for my growth. So that's non-negotiable. When I see things that are not for me, I'm just gonna tuck and roll and keep it pushing. Anything
100%.
that's not for you, don't change or conform or settle. It's not that deep. Like, you can find things
Right.
and people and surroundings that are for you. And if you don't, I'm very happy being by myself. But
Hmm.
I'm not gonna get stuck in any more patterns that are not conducive for my development.
How do you feel about you talked about patterns, right? And I was
Yeah.
just thinking, how can you like patterns can repeat. Um they can actually get to the point where they might repeat, or how do we identify it and know like cuz you said you can just step away from it, right?
Hmm.
How can you identify it and just be able to say, "Hey, I'm done with this. I'm not redoing this in life."
Girl, some situations you can just see it coming from a mile away. Like an example, a pattern for me is to completely put myself aside to take care of other people. I remember last year, my little sister, she would she used to like beg me. She'd be like, Jenny, can you please like go shopping? Like, can you please? Because I would never take care of, I would never get my nails done. Like, I wouldn't buy clothes for myself
Wow.
because I would always feel like I was in a place where I was really trying to get financially secure. So, taking care of my debt, managing my credit, things like that were my main focus. And I wasn't shopping and, buying things for myself because I was very, very frugal, even more so than I am now. But, that was my goal to be able to get, everything that I needed. But if anybody else needed anything, I would hand it out in a heartbeat. My nephew would need something, she would need something, and I would go out and get it with no questions asked. So for me, I need to break that cycle of taking care of myself last and really just start to do things that I like to do, my nails, take care of my hair, buy myself something every now and then, just so that way I'm continuing to make myself feel my self-worth. I can't sit here and expect to say, oh yeah, I love myself, but I'm not treating myself as I should. I'm working hard. I'm working in one state and living in another state. So I'm constantly driving, constantly either I'm driving, sleeping, or I'm taking care of somebody's kids. So it's important for me to take the time and take care of myself in any way, fashion, or form that I like. And that's what I've been doing. Now, breaking the cycle of taking care of myself last, like that's done. If I have to take some time to take a bubble bath before I go to
Mhm.
work, like I'm going to take that bubble bath. Like I'm not going to rush out and just get ready for work. I'm going to make sure I wake up at a good enough time that I
Mhm.
could just enjoy the morning. I can have my smoothie, take my bath, and just
Yes.
really do what I have to
Yes.
do, because taking care of myself last is no longer an option for me.
Yep. I totally agree with you, girl, because your girl, I get up at 6 o'clock every morning just to have me time. Because
Mhm.
before I realized that mentally I wasn't in a good place when I got to work because I
Mhm.
was just rolling out of bed, real grumpy that I still got to report to this place that I do not like being in half of the time. Because, nobody likes to be at work, period.
Mm.
And especially when you're in a toxic environment,
Yep.
being there all day, it doesn't work. So for me, I was like, nah, what can you do to make sure that your mental is right before you go into work? So I started getting up at 6 where I had enough time to meditate, pray. Even if I wanted to lounge on this couch for a little bit, I would do that and then get my little workout in so all the adrenaline is going,
Mhm.
and then cook a little breakfast if I needed to, or have a little cup of tea and take my time, not
Yeah.
rushing out and hasting, and then you
Yeah.
don't get nothing for you.
Yeah.
Then you come home, all you could do is eat and go to bed. You ain't do
Mm.
nothing for you today. So I
Trust me.
sacrifice my sleep to get up early to do that.
Mm.
So I'm glad that you said that because we need to do it. It's important. Self-care should be a daily thing. It's not about you just doing um physical things, getting your nails done and all of that. I always say that. It's more to it. It's so important for your mental state.
Mhm.
It really is. And those couple of minutes in the morning for you probably make a huge difference. Because here you are about to go drive a whole hour. How long is your drive again? 40 minutes?
About an hour and 40. It depends on the traffic. Like an hour 30, hour
Mm.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with the whole drive and all that, you're like, I just need a second. Let me get that second in the morning. Although you can get some time in the car too, but driving in New York City traffic and Jersey traffic, you ain't getting no time.
Nah, I'm cussing the whole way through. Get out of my way.
Road rage like a mother girl.
Girl.
But I like that. I love that, Jen. Like we need that. We need to tell our ladies that that's what they need. We need that self-care and we
Mhm.
need that time for us, man. My next negotiable is totally off from yours.
Oh,
But
what
we
is
was
it?
lined up for like the first three though.
Yeah.
So this one was a little, you know, different for me because like I said, mine were kind of lined up in the sense of being with someone in a relationship. So, I must be independent and not rely on anyone to provide for me.
Mm.
And that when it comes to getting into a relationship, oftentimes as women, we look for the man to be the provider, and that's okay. But I want to know that Christina can provide for Christina.
Yeah.
Christina can hold Christina down. Christina has her independence. I'm resilient and I can do it for myself. Okay. And then you come in with your money, boo boo, and that's a bonus. Thank you. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So now we
Yeah.
can hold each other down. But Christina was holding herself down. I don't ever want to look for a man because of money. How many times you hear a girl say, if he ain't got no money, I don't want him?
Yeah.
Don't you got your own money?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't got your own money and your own stuff. Now, if you say you want a man with ambition
That's
and
different.
dreams and aspire to do different things, that's a whole different thing than a man that got money. And most of
Mm-hmm.
these chicks that said they want money, man, I had to get Jamaican. But most of these women that said they want a money, man, don't want nothing but materialistic things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
materialistic things don't define me
Yeah. And they will go anywhere for the material things.
from anything, from car to house to anything. I always tell people I don't need what I have. I like nice things, but it don't say Christina. I could be driving a Benz right now. The Benz is not going to say Christina is a successful person or a great person. It's when you
Mm-hmm.
engage with me that's going to say, "Dang, she a bomb ass chick.
Mm-hmm.
You a ooh." Now, at the end of the day, the car and the materialistic things are reinforcers. You get what I'm saying? They reinforce my great work that I've done because I worked for it, but it does not define who I am. At the end of the day, like just like you get a paycheck every other week, it reinforces your hard work that you did for the week, right? Does that define you as an employee? Because you got people who get paid that aren't good employees,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And then you got the ones who bust their ass that are great employees.
Yep.
So anyways, I went off and I went on a rant as I usually do. And all I'm saying is that I can rely on myself.
Mm.
I don't need a man for that. And the same too. Also I thought about that when it comes to friends, because you got some friends, you got some people who want rich friends. You got some people who want friends just to have their money and use them. Or you got the friends who just rely on them for a sense of independence because they don't got it of their own. So they depend on you because you're so independent. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Yeah, I know you had a friend like that, Jen, that just constantly laid the load on you, as if you had a friend that's a friend, but it felt like you was in a relationship with them. Jen is like,
Girl. I
and you're like,
I
what
I
is it?
do. I do. Girl, I got family like that. Yes, I can't. Like you say, you gotta know your boundaries. Keep your load over there. It's too much, okay?
Over there,
I
I'm
can't.
good. Hmm.
No.
I don't need
Mm-mm.
it. We good.
Speak
So
on it.
that was it. I rely on myself. I provide for me. I
Mm-hmm.
provide for me. I'm so strong relying myself that I provide for me. If my child needed me to provide, I can provide. I don't need a
Mm-hmm.
man to help me provide for my child.
Yeah.
Okay?
Future children. Future.
Yes.
She ain't got no child.
Yeah.
But yeah, girl. That's so true, and that's big for me too. Financial stability is definitely one of my most the biggest goal for me because I've
Hmm.
come from a family where stability wasn't a thing. So I just being able to provide for myself is a big factor for me as well. Um, I already know I could provide everything for myself because I got everything for myself. It's
Hey, that's
it
right,
is what it
girl.
is, you know. So I'm just very grateful to everything that I do have. But with that being said, I want to go into my last non negotiable, which will be I can't allow anybody's opinion to sway my judgment or sway me because I'm comfortable where I'm at. I do, like I said, I do everything by
Mm,
myself for myself, and I'm at the point now where I'm comfortable with that, you know, and I don't need anybody's opinion. Nobody's paying my bills, so I don't need anybody's opinion. I don't need
mm,
anyone to convince me or sway me or try to tell me what I should or should not do. If I have my mind made up on something, like that's my mind made up on something. That's not me
that's right,
asking for an
friend.
opinion. So, you know, even though I do value some people's opinion because I would come to you or, you know, close friends for an opinion or advice, but ultimately that's exactly what it will be. It'll just be advice. And my opinion or my decision is based off of how I feel and what I want to do. So that's my last thing. I can't allow anybody else because I've done that before, girl. You know,
Hmm.
people try to talk you out of things, and it's just like they deflate your dream or your goals because they put their limitations on your expectations. Like, no, keep
Mm-hmm.
your limitations to yourself. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
you to burst my bubble. Like, if I want to go to the
Facts.
moon, let me go to the moon. Let me think that I could build, because somebody done did it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But once you're stuck in a goal, or a place where you want to go, what you want to do, any goals that you may have, don't let anybody's opinion sway your judgment. That's my last non-negotiable. How
Perfect.
about you?
It's perfect. That's it for me, girl. I
Yeah.
laid them out. I laid them out.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, I laid it out. So what's your whoa moment?
hmm, my woe moment, I would say, ultimately, after everything that we've said, we just need to focus on ourselves. My woe moment is, do you, boo? Like,
Do you boo? Mm-hmm.
yes.
I
Who
like that.
cares about
Do
anybody's
you boo?
opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Period. Period, poo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you just got to do you. Live your best life, because nobody else, who cares? Everybody's going to have an opinion, but
No matter
nobody
what.
has the ability to make any kind of judgment calls on your life but you. You're the one, that's living this life, and you have to live it to the fullest. Fulfill yourself, and you won't be looking to anyone else to fulfill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fulfill yourself and you won't be looking to anyone else to fulfill you.
Yes,
Do you
girl.
boo?
Do you, boo?
Mm-hmm.
What's your woe moment?
Jeez, the do you boo had me ready to set it off,
Girl,
girl.
yes. So that's our woe
Like,
moment for sure. We just gotta remember, do you, boo? We need that on the shirt. Do you, boo?
do you boo? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna make a shirt out of that one.
Yes, I'm with
We're gonna
it.
make that the hashtag for the week when we post this podcast. Do
Girl,
you boo?
as you should.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for watching our Cultivate Her podcast. It's important for you to know what your non negotiables are when you're dealing with any kind of relationship. So that way, you're not going to settle for just anything. So, remember to know what your self worth is. Focus on your self value. Figure out who you are when no one's in the room. And once you do that, you'll be able to turn into the best version of yourself that you possibly can be, and you'll be able to break any patterns, any cycles that you want. All you got to do is do you, boo.
Do you boo? Do
Yeah.
you boo? Hey, I love it. All right, guys, listen, don't forget to make sure you catch us every single Tuesday. If you don't know, but you need to know now, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. Follow the Cultivate Her podcast. We hit you up every single Tuesday. Don't forget to send your listener letters, okay? And that is your purpose chaser letters. We want to know, what are you doing? We want to hear what you're doing to chase your purpose. Do you need advice on your purpose that you're chasing? Send us the letters now. Purpose chaser letters. Is it y'all? I'm gonna drop it in the. I'm gonna drop it
Yeah, drop that
in the
thing.
little bio. I think it is definitely though. I think it's cultivate her podcast at gmail.com, and that's where you send your chaser letter. So just title it purpose chaser letter and let us know if you want us to share your full story on there. If you want us to block out your name, we won't, but give us your situation. Let us know, hey, Jen and Christina, I have this situation and I'm trying to create a business next year. What do you think my goals should be? How should I go about doing it? Girl, or even tell us your success stories. We want to know. Come on now, purpose chasers. We want to
Yes.
know. Because
Yes.
listen,
Tune in, tap in.
right? Tap into your purpose, right?
Yeah.
Hey, tap into your purpose. Hey, tap into your purpose. All right, now we catch y'all next week.